Thank you for tuning in to a special broadcast here at the Court of Public Opinion. Please support us at Planet Radio and Court of Public Opinion for a special broadcast for parents, family, and working out issues, resolving conflicts, and much more. Thank you for tuning in to the Court of Public Opinion. All right, the next case is mediating and dissolving and resolving conflict. That's one of the primary things that I think everyone should come to the table and have resolution, a plan to resolve a matter. I like the fact that there are people that are willing parties. Personally, I find it's much more rewarding, much more satisfying in the long run, and everyone benefits. And that's why I am doing this report, and we're going to talk about stories like this, creative conservative girl, because I really am trying to promote more art, talent, music, theater, and this is going to be maybe what we know could be the final broadcast. Without your support, we cannot continue to do what we're doing, but we can do it purely on faith at this point, because faith is getting us a lot further, believe it or not, and it is the driver behind what we're doing. It takes a lot of faith to put our thoughts and ideas to work, and I've even done some demonstrations with poetry at the Moonlight Lounge, music, a mix of radio, theater, and a lot, all to come to this final broadcast here tonight, July 31st, 2017. I have to tell you, many of us has not exactly sailed through our problems, much less ride through it easily, but if you can ride the wind and ride the stormy weather, sometimes when you think about just having a dream or a goal and focusing on that, I want to talk about what that looks like for somebody like my mother, my foster mother, who she's rode through some storms, and we've done interviews with her in the past, but she just bought a boat, and I have to tell you, I'm really excited about that. That's why I think about why it's so good to walk away from conflicts, resolve it, and move on. And she's a great person who's demonstrated great courage, and she's been under a lot of attack in the process, believe me. Me and her have disagreed on a lot of things, even argued and debated, but one of the things I found very, very amazing is her ability to walk away and keep going. And she has shown us perseverance and strength. And I want to tell you a story about Gail, because I think dedicating this broadcast to Gail, my mother, foster mother, I have to tell you, she has shown a lot of people that she's really up to the challenge, and she has accomplished a great goal. First of all, about 2000, she said she was going to move to the beach. I really knew she would, but honestly, by the time she got to the beach, and then she told me last year that she was planning to buy a boat, and she did, I was like, wow, this is a great story. So I like to tell you about good stories too, and good reports. I know there's a lot of room for negative reports, and we'll get to that, but I want to tell you about resolving conflict first. And I want to get to that story at the very end. When everybody comes to the table, we have a lot of issues. And I know my issues, okay? And I have to wrestle with some things. And I've wrestled all day over one that I think is probably a harder topic to admit to, is quitting smoking. And I used to blame a lot of my problems, habits on a lot of people as well. And one of the things is by taking personal responsibility is learning to stop doing those things that are destructive or bad behaviors. And let me tell you what we've accomplished when we confront these issues. Well, if you would have told me over 20 years ago that I'd quit biting my nails, I would have said, no way. There's a small miracle in every story. And if you would have told me that I would have had dental issues as a result of drinking Diet Cola, and I would quit almost a year and a half ago, I would have said, wow, really? Yeah. So I've acquired some habits, and I know a lot of you have acquired some bad habits along the way. But we have successfully quit a lot of bad habits through this, which was not the story that you heard about. See, we were all confused and focused on all these other things, but in the process, let me tell you about the accomplishments I've seen in a lot of people. I've seen people graduate high school under enormous difficult circumstances. When my dad passed away, my sister graduated, and that was, I can't think of a harder time than being a senior in high school and seeing my sister graduate, or seeing my nephew, who's been through a lot, smile again. or seeing my nephew Tyler go from, literally almost a rags to riches story. Like, he really struggled, and so did his dad. And before you know it, last year, he became the student council president. So, I mean, I look at these stories and I'm like, let's not overlook some of the good stories and the good reports. Some of you have some good reports, and I'd like to hear what you've heard. Like, in the course of all these storms, it's like, let's not overlook the good stories. My niece, I mean, a lot of these kids, they have turned things around for themselves, and I like to hear the turnaround story, and it all starts at getting to the table and say, okay, we've accomplished a lot here, but what do we have in front of us? Well, I know my issues. I don't know about you guys, but if you bring your issues to the table, and people are about looking at how to find ways to work together to support one another, it's a lot easier to confront our problems, encouraging each other. And I have to agree, when we bring our problems to the table, sometimes it might take willing parties to agree. And you have to be willing. And that's really hard when you hear criticism, constant criticism. And I want to be encouraging, okay? Because where I come from, that's what you need, is encouragement. You don't need to hear this, that. My dad would have been shocked that I quit biting my nails, by the way. He's not with us, but here, you can hear my nails tapping. Who would have ever thought that I'd ever have nails? My dad used to complain all the time about how I bit my nails. And if you saw how bad I bit my nails, look, that is a miracle. There are a lot of miracles happening right in front of us. We might not be fully aware of it at the time, but every time I paint my nails and I think, wow, I've met that challenge and I can do so much more. We got to give each other a chance, okay? We need to slow down our pace. I know that. And I know we have to learn to be patient and care about each other. We're going to get a lot further in life when we slow down and take time to smell the roses. Back after this, for more at the Court of Public Opinion. If you'd like to support what we're doing here at the Court of Public Opinion, please go to Patreon, become a patron, and support us there. More after this at the Court of Public Opinion. There's a lot of great shows and programs we have up next, and I hope you support us because, boy, do we have some really good theater coming up. And it's fun, entertaining, and it's a chance for, no matter what part of the political spectrum you find yourself on, I hope that whatever we put together on an open stage, that it's improv and it's funny, and you can bring poetry, you can bring your guitar, you can bring whatever you want. We're going to be over there in Beaver, as they are going to be breaking down on August 6th. They have a August nights. It's a hot summer nights, August 6th. And the great performance. So if we get the okay by tomorrow, we should be there. If not, we're going to find somewhere to go. It might be in my parking lot here at my business. But we need to raise money for child advocacy and for family advocacy, because without your support, there's a lot of things that could go wrong. And we are hoping and encourage that, because a little bit of support here and there, we need your full support. Thank you again for listening to this broadcast at the Court of Public Opinion. Up next, second part of this episode of Resolving Conflict and Problems Resolution.
Every time I see you
Thank you for listening to the second part of the Court of Public Opinion. One of the things I know about conflict resolution is you don't ever want to punch somebody or hit somebody or grab them. See, when your back's turned, what I've learned firsthand is that you might get socked in the chest or punched in the face. If I ever had an opportunity to confront the people that punched me in the eye and blew up my eyes, and after listening to some of the complaints, they have never, ever had a black eye. You heard me. You know exactly who you are. So when I listen to these people complain to me or complain about me, they also didn't have two eyes blown up, punched in the chest. These false reports of abuse, you should see what it's like to be in an emergency room having your nose packed on a gurney. You should see what it feels like to be on the other side of the fist. So every time those people, those naysayers, threw us under the bus, and I know exactly who you are. I'm not going to apologize to somebody's bad behavior. I cannot apologize for you. All I can do is say that always the innocent people get the punches and takes the cheap shots. So when I tell you I'm willing to come to the table and I'm willing to listen to you, and some of you are too busy unfriending people and disrespecting people, that's on you. We're coming to the table because we have been on the other side of that fist. We know what it's like to get punched and hit and grabbed. So please don't tell me that what I'm trying to do here is not important. It should actually be the opposite. I'm willing to come to the table even after being attacked and assaulted. I recall a lot of people who didn't take the time to have the courtesy to even check on and see how we're doing, just to say hi. You know how many neighbors and friends don't go out of each other's way for each other? Let me tell you, it's sad. A common courtesy is just check on your neighbor. See if they're okay. If somebody's not feeling good, you check on them. So I look at what we're doing as extending an olive branch. We don't have to do a thing. So when I look at conflict resolution, some of you'll argue all day long, but you won't come to the table. I wonder why. Have you ever been on the other side of the fist? Because I have. I had 2 black and blue eyes. I was up in Cranberry Township. Nobody recognized me. I was in rags, wearing clothes I hadn't washed in days. Do you think anybody took the time to buy me a drink, a coffee? No. In fact, you should have seen the attitude and the dirty looks I went through just asking for help to start my car. And I got this. I'm really tired. I have things to do. That's what I get. So please don't tell me I don't listen to it. I know that there are people tired. I don't hold that against anybody for being tired. What I don't like is hypocrisy. When I'm asking you for help, there may be a reason I need your help. But instead they're on Facebook, and I get it. It'd be better if just tell me that you have other things to do. It'd be better than get that disrespectful attitude or snobby attitude. This guy was a Marine. I grew up, my dad was a Marine. I know my dad would never have acted like that, though. People are so used to accusing people, think they're not even aware of their presence, their countenance. I'm in the worst shape I could possibly be in financially. My landlord's asking me for money, and there are people willing to defend somebody that hits and smacks somebody. That's the way it is. For a victim who's going overlooked and ignored, you don't know what it's like to be on the other side. I feel sorry for those people that have acted out on that. But the consequence is, if you've ever been punched or smacked, you don't know what it feels like until you've gone through it. You don't know what it feels like until somebody punches you in the eye and clocks you and then jumps in front of moving traffic. So please don't give me this attitude, because I go through it every day. I get it on the phone. I got it from bosses after I got clocked. And I'm watching my nephew getting pushed around and attitude after attitude. And all I get is somebody says, well, you should take some time out. Yeah, well, it's always like that. We're still stuck. So I'm willing to come to the table. If you want to come to the table, you got to meet me halfway. Because as far as I'm concerned, I have met a lot of people halfway. And I don't get the support. I'm the one that operates a court of public opinion. You know why? Because there is no justice in the court system. That's the truth. That's why I started the court of public opinion. Why I started the field report. Because I was getting beat almost to pulp by my ex-husband. So thank you for supporting what I do. Because most of those domestic violence shelters turned us away too. Most of those programs have turned their backs on us. That's why we started the field report. So when you help my mission in life is to get the help that people need right away. Because I'm going to tell you, some of the attitudes in Pittsburgh and some of the attitudes right in my front door, right next door, we've gone over and above to extend ourselves a little bit. I would love to see that reciprocated, but I'm not holding my breath. So when you support what we're doing and you're willing to come to the table, you got my back. Thank you for listening to the Court of Public Opinion. Please come to the table and help support us here. And if you don't, thank you anyway, because that's the end of our broadcast. God bless you. I'd really like to invite those who are part of our broadcast or listen to the broadcast. We invite anyone to take over the mic at any point. We don't want to mute anyone out. Honestly, we've made that mistake in the past. I hope if we continue this broadcast that we can share the mic. The Court of Public Opinion is a panel of 12 people with 12 different opinions. I mean, anyone's welcome to the table if they, want to share the mic. It's not me here only, but there's plenty of room at this table, okay? I want to invite those who really, really want to take up, whether it's a physical issue, spiritual issue, mental issue, spiritual issues alone can take up a long time. So I invite anyone. Email me, contact me. That's the only way to get into reality. Like, let's get real, okay? Email me, contact me, message me, write a letter, note. All I can ask you is just articulate what your concerns are. I invite people to the table. Why people don't contact me is another story, okay? Not Facebook message alone. Just contact me by email or write a physical letter. I'll even give you my house address, okay? But contact me through email so I can verify you're legit and I have to pre-screen everything. I can't just give away information. I want you guys to legitimately write a letter though. Otherwise, I'm just going to do these broadcasts or we're going to quit. I don't see why you can't write a letter or a card or let me know what your thoughts are. Otherwise, I've been argued with and people call people names. I don't want to hear that. If that's all we're going to accomplish here, because I love to argue. I love to scream and yell too. But I want people to write a letter, send me a card, send me a message, contact me so I know that you care about the same issues, or else I'm wasting your time. I don't want to do this. I don't want to, just argue things that matter to me, but I'm using these topics as an example to share you guys how important these issues are at the table. So contact us. Thank you for listening to the Court of Public Opinion.
She walks in and I'm suddenly a hero. I'm taken in, my hopes begin to rise. Look at me, can't you tell? I'd be so thrilled to see the message in your eyes. You make it seem I'm so close to my dream. Suddenly, the wheels are in motion, and I'm ready to sail any ocean. Suddenly, I don't need the answers, 'cause I'm ready to take all my chances with you. And how can I feel you're all that matters? I'd rely on anything you say. I take care that no illusions shatter. If you dare to say what you should say. Make it seem I'm so close to my dream. Suddenly it's alright. Suddenly the wheels are in motion, and I'm ready to sail any ocean. Suddenly I don't need the answers, 'cause your name.